Hello everyone, my name is Rafael Dakwira, a student at Zitec University, currently pursuing a Bachelor's of Education Arts and Social Sciences, specializing in English and Literature. Please join me in this lesson for the course Planning and Economics of Education. In today's lesson, we shall learn about the process of educational planning by first defining planning, the term planning, types of planning, process of educational planning, problems of educational planning in developing countries, and the proposed solutions. Please welcome. So what is planning? The planning process involves formally and consciously making decisions for the future of individuals and organizations. So here you are using you are using your formal way to make decision, and you are aware of it. It's conscious. You are aware of those decisions for the future of students and organizations and individuals. So what does it deal? It deals with the aims and objectives, selecting of correct strategies and programs, and determining required resources and their allocation. We shall go to the types of planning. Number one is the strategic planning. Strategic planning involves long-term and integrated strategies for an organization. It includes identifying future opportunities and threats and analyzing strengths and weaknesses. So here you identify this is the first stage, and in this stage you identify the future opportunities and threats, both internal and external threats, and you analyze the strength and weaknesses. Number two, shall go to the operational planning. Operational planning aims to improve current operations and allocate resources through an operating budget using the goals and strategies determined through strategic planning. Remember, in strategic planning, uh, goals and strategies are set. Then in operational planning, we use these goals and strategies so as to allocate resources. Then there is a macro planning. Planning, as the name suggests, it deals with the broad entirety at the top of organization hierarchy. It considered it considers national level data like population and enrollment figures without delving into the specifics of skill development. So macro planning considers it deals with the national level data like overpopulation, uh, the enrollment figures, the number of death and birth in a year. Okay, it is a broad entirety. Unlike number four, which is the micro planning, which involves planning for issues such as accommodating increasing student numbers, or determining how schools in a specific area can enroll and retain all children. So the micro planning is a narrower planning strategy. So it involves you look at the increasing number of students, maybe in a year in a certain area, and it is in a certain area, and how they enroll and they rise, and how that specific school retain their children. There is decentralized planning, the last one. It involves the distribution of administrative powers and functions to local units within an administrative hierarchy. So decentralized planning moves from the center to the margin. Okay, so here the administrators plan and go to they can consult the community to for any issues like the weaknesses and any threats of the institution in order to plan ahead. You see, so for example, the given here I've already explained planning for local development by involving consultation with the economy. We shall go to the process of educational planning. Uh, Number one is clarification of educational goals and objectives. This is the first stage in educational planning. So this foundational stage, so it is the foundation of all the planning process, provides a a sense of direction and discipline, guiding the actions necessary to meet identified needs in education. So planning should have clear goals and objectives in order to have a direction. And these goals and objectives are used as a guideline in the whole educational system. Number two is the diagnosis of present situation. Here, a detailed study of the present conditions in the educational system is undertaken through a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is the uh, stands for S stands for strength, W weaknesses or opportunities, T threats. So it's the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis. We are looking at any strength that the institution might have, or weaknesses, or any opportunities that it has, or internal or external threats of that institution. So as number three is assessment of alternative courses of action. Remember, you are not only relying on one plan, you are also looking at the other courses of action. So it enables educators to make rational choice of possible actions to address the present situation and future needs. At this stage, the plan is formulated. So here is where we formulate the plan. Number four, planned implementation. So this is the most crucial stage of all the other processes. So here, success at this stage demonstrates the real worth of the plan. Maybe whether it had just had good intentions, or it has achieved that or those goals and objectives. At this stage, the formulated plans are broken down into specific programs. Remember, at assessment of alternative course of action, um, the plan was formulated, and in the plan implementation, these formulated plans are broken down into specific programs. Then there is plan evaluation. At this stage, an assessment of the success of the plan is undertaken. You assess the whole process of education. The weaknesses and strengths in the plan projections are examined in detail. Then there is feedback. Remember, a plan wants you to involve other people in order to be successful. You cannot do it alone. You need a teamwork. You need feedback from other people. So this is the final stage, feedback, which links the evaluation with the first stage. The first stage, you clarify the goals and objectives. So it links the evaluation and the first stage. It wants to see, did we achieve what we set in the earlier goals and objectives? So it offers lessons learned, which helps the planners in the beginning of another plan on how to improve and rectify problems that occasion failure. So here you see, it is very useful. Feedback is very useful. It will help other new planners to plan, to know how to improve and rectify any problem that happened in a certain plan, and therefore they'll take it as a lesson. Then the problems of educational planning in developing countries. Number one is the political instability. Political instability is the problem that faces many the developing countries. The political crises, wars, dysfunction in parliament, and changes in government can disrupt educational plans. Number two, shortage of financial resources. Many developing countries struggle to fund their educational plans in order to expand their facilities and provide good educational services to the students. So this leads to a compromised quality in expanding education. There is high population growth. There's a rapid population growth in developing nations, which will create a challenge for educational planning and enrollment projections to cater for the rising number. There's inadequate and unreliable data for planning. Educational plans often rely on outdated and accurate data. They may rely on the outdated and inaccurate data, including population figures, and GDP, which hinders effective planning. So they they may they may use this data in to plan, and this is a challenge. Teacher supply, demand, and utilization. Many countries such as Niger, Nigeria struggle to adequately train teachers, resulting in understaffed schools and imbalances in teacher distribution. The number of students to teacher ratio is so high in those countries. Then there's the proposed solutions. Number one, every census should be preceded by a sufficient and thorough orientation of the general public, which will involve the public when doing any census. Security should be provided for enumerators during this census activity. Okay, it should, the educational planners go to the field to assess any problems that may rise in the educational system, or it is in the education system. So security should be provided for these enumerators. Another an understanding should be reached with communities with exclusive customs in order to ensure complete enumeration of persons during census activity. You see, the enumerators should not just go to the field without consulting or without getting the permission from from the society, from the people around, from the targeted society. They should seek permission in order for the activity to go smoothly. There should be a thorough supervision of census uh, exercise that is self-explanatory. Then adequate policy should be put in place to cater for the lapses experienced in census so far, especially a provision for sanctioning of these persons guilty of manipulating census data. Yeah, people who are greedy or are found guilty of manipulating any census data should face the law. Number six, there is design adequate policy and incentives to encourage registration of birth and death. Also, pre-medical services should be provided in the rural communities. Rural communities the medical services in rural communities might be too expensive for some people in those areas. So the proposed solution is freeing these medical services. This will encourage dwellers to prefer the hospital for treatment of disease and during childbirth, hence getting the data that will help the enumerators in educational planning. The Constitution should provide for the creation of professional body that will be in charge of recommending persons for political appointments in the field of education. You see, the enumerators should not be unskilled. They should be skilled people, personnel. So the Constitution should employ people with profession, professionalism. Yeah, thank you. So you'll go and find other solutions uh, apart from the above uh, explained, and that is the end of the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.